हेलो गाइस, आप लोग कैसे हो। आप लोग का स्वागत है मेरे टेक्निकल चैनल में। आज हम डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं एक्टिव डायरेक्टरी पार्टीशंस फ्रेंड्स फॉर विंडोज सर्वर 2025 एज अ एक्टिव डायरेक्टरी। सो टुडे हम डिस्कस comprehensive guide to active directory partition। ये इंट्रोडक्शन पार्ट है, इसमें हम डिस्कस करेंगे ईच एंड एवरी पॉइंट ऑफ एक्टिव डायरेक्टरी पार्टीशंस। इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ एक्टिव डायरेक्टरी पार्टीशंस। So I move to another slide. Overview of Active Directory Partitions. Centralized authentication and authorizations. Active Directory provides centralized authentication and authorization for user and resource in Windows domain network. Hierarchical structure. AD user a hierarchical structure with forest, domain and organizations unit for scalability and flexible management. Move to the replication or fault tolerance. Active Directory support replications across domain controller to maintain data consistency and ensure fault tolerance. Integrations and protocol. AD integrate with DNS and user LDAP and Kerberos protocol for directory query, authentications and secure access. Now move to the next slide. Importance of directory partitions. Role of directory partitions. Partitions organizations and replicate Active Directory data efficiently across domain controller to optimize network traffic. Separations of data type. Partition separates schema configurations, domain, object and applications data, reduce risk and improving management. Replications scope and benefits. What is a benefit and a replication? So we'll discuss. Replications scope limit data replications to necessary domain or forest, enhancing performance and data integrity. Next is applications partition flexibility. Applications partitions allow custom replications for services like DNS, supporting specialized data needed. Now go move to the next slide. So next slide we will discuss schema partition. There is a four partitions in the Active Directory partitions: schema partition, configurations partitions, domain partitions and applications partitions. So now I'm discussing schema partitions. Definitions and role of schema partitions. Schema partitions is partitions purpose. Schema partition purpose define the structure and attributes of all objects within Active Directory forest, acting as a blueprint. Consistency across controller, ensure uniform object definitions across all domain controllers for consistency and compatibility. Schema modification tools like schema management, MMC and ADSI edit enable viewing the editing of schema object carefully. So this is a very important partitions of the Active Directory. Importance of schema and understanding. Viral to extending AD functionality, integrity applications and maintaining update compatibility. Now I move to next slide. Replication scope and management. Forest wide schema replications, because it's a forest wide role. Schema partitions replicate to all domain controller, ensuring uniform object definitions across the forest. Replications topology optimizations. knowledge consistency checker, builders and replications topology, and optimize traffic and maintain consistency. Monitoring replications health. Administrators use tools like replications and event viewer to monitor and prevent replications inconsistency. Best practices for schema changes. Perform schema changes during maintenance window and backup and lab testing to ensure stability. सो ये है कि आप स्कीमा चेंज करने से पहले बैकअप ले लें, डाउन टाइम होना चाहिए एंड लैब टेस्टिंग. आफ्टर दैट यू कैन गो टू practice of movement of schema roles. So it's a important schema. So if down, then you cannot create any configurations related. So I'm going to move another partitions, that is configurations partition. This is also forest wise partitions. Purpose and contents of configurations partitions. Now friends, I'm going to discuss configurations partitions. Forest wide configurations data store global settings like site subnets and replications topology affecting the entire Active Directory forest. This is a structure of configurations partitions. Replications optimizations. Site definitions optimize replications by grouping domain controller to reduce bandwidth and improve efficiency. Service integrations detail. Configurations partitions hold informations on services like certificate, authority, and exchange relying on Active Directory. Administrations and management. Administrators manage the replications via tool like ADSI Edit and PowerShell for replication and consistency troubleshooting. Now move to the next slide. No, I think yeah, slide number 10. Replications and best practices. Configurations partitions replications. Configurations partition replications to all domain controller, ensuring consistency site and services informations forest wide. Monitoring replications health. Use tools like ripadmin /show ripples and monitor event log regularly to verify replications health and directory errors. Site configurations best practices. Define site based on physical network layout and design domain controllers to minimize replications latency and authentications delay. Replications optimizations technique. Use site link breeze and cost setting to control applications path for optimal performance in large environments. Now I'm moved to the another partitions, that is called domain partitions. So let's discuss about domain partitions. Role and data stores in domain partition. Domain partitions contents store dynamic domain specific data such as user, account, group, computer, OU, and policies. Replications scope replicates data only within its domain to reduce replications traffic across the forest. Administrations and security. Admins use tools like ADUC and GPMC to manage identities, policies, and enforce security boundaries. Organizations, unit, and delegations, OU and group structure enable simplified administrations and granular permissions delegations. Now move to the another slides. Replications and operation considerations. Domain partitions replications. Replications occur among all domain controllers in the domain using the multi-master model for consistent authentications processing. Now move to the another replications health monitoring. Administrator must monitor replications health to avoid issue like lingering object and USN rollback that affect authentications. Best practices for replications. What is the best practices? So a strategic domain controller placement, site link configurations, and use of RODC improve performance, security, and fault tolerance. So now move to the another slide that is called another partitions, applications partitions, definitions and use cases of applications partitions. Applications partitions store data for applications needing directory integrations without full forest replications. DNS zone integrations. DNS zones like DNA domain DNS zone and forest DNS zones use applications partitions for efficient applications, replications control and performance. Applications partitions reduce unnecessary replications traffic, improving network performance and control. Management tools. Tools like DNS, CMD, and PowerShell commandlet create and manage applications partition efficiently. Now move to the another slide. Replications strategy and management. Selective replications control. Applications partitions replications only to a specifically configured domain controllers to reduce replications overhead. Monitoring replications health. Administrator use tool like RipAdmin and ADSI to monitor replications health and verify partitions process. Now friends move to the another topic that is a best practice and management. Plan replications scope. Ensure partitions and document configurations to maintain Active Directory performance. Now move to the another slides. Comprehend comparisons and best practices. Comparison of all partitions scope and replications scope. There is a four partitions I have discussed with definitions, so now I can summarize of all four partitions. Schema partitions is a defined object and class and attribute. It's a forest wide role. Schema partitions store the all object attributes just like user, computer, printer. That's our object, and that's object attribute like first name, last name, groups, member of, that is a attribute. So every object's lots of attributes, all attributes are defined in a scheme. Configurations, now discuss about configurations partitions. Configurations partitions store global settings and topology. It's also forest wide role. Configurations partitions store all informations of the configurations of forest, just like group policy settings, and domain configurations detail everything related of configurations stored in configurations partitions. Now I'm discussing about another partition is a domain partition. Domain partition contain the informations of domain specific object. It's every domain. Suppose that I have one forest and five domain. Then five domain level domain partition is available, but configuration and schema is only one. Domain partitions store also replications only domain wise. Applications partitions store services and specific data custom and create control. Applications partitions is also stored in domain level and application level. So I'm going to move another partition, another slide, sorry. Best practices for managing partitions. Schema partitions management, avoid unnecessary changes and always test in lab environment before production update to maintain stability. Configurations partitions. Define site accuracy and monitor replications help to optimize Active Directory performance. Domain partitions organize use organizational unit and group policy strategy to maintain security and manageability of the domain. Application partitions plan applications partitions scope carefully and secure applications partitions to prevent unauthorized modification. Conclusions of this topic, summary and key tech. Active Directory Partition. Active Directory partitions include schema, configurations, domain, and applications, each with unique role and replication scope. Importance of schema consistency. Maintaining schema consistency ensure directory data integrity and support scalable services across the network. Configurations and domain management. Accurate site configurations and domain data organizations optimize replications and improve Active Directory performance. Applications partitions and best practices. Best practices. A strategy use of applications partitions like DNS improve flexibility and monitoring applications ensure high availability. So now we have completed the Active Directory partition discussion. So guys, thank you for watching the channel. So like, share, comment. Thank you.